You also once mentioned, Vineeta, about your father.
Yeah.
And in one of your interviews,
Yeah.
I saw.
Yeah.
So, we would like to know about how did you see him chase his dream, which
Okay.
at once was an impossible dream,
Yeah.
and how has this impacted you in your journey?
Yeah, yeah. So my father is a scientist. He's
Okay.
now 73, but he
Wow.
still works every single day in his lab at AIMS from morning to night because he works on the discovery of protein structures
Okay.
that are used to make drugs that can prevent that can cure cancer and other diseases. And he's been working on this. He's been in research for the last 50 years. And when I was a child, when I was growing up, he used to tell me that he has this dream that he will discover the highest number of protein structures in the world. And there is a list which is called the Global Protein Database, where every scientist that discovers a new protein gets a mention. And so he used to say that, someday I'm going to discover 600 proteins and then I'll be at the top of the list. And I remember when I was a child, it was, he was at probably 200 or 300 and, the highest was at some 600 and he was doing about 15, 20 a year. So every time I would do the math, it would be like it's going to take him 20 years to get to his goal. And just imagine somebody waking up every single day, getting excited about a dream which he had to create from India the largest number of protein structures discovered, which is going to actually come through in like another 20 years.
Yes.
Right? It seems like impossible. And I used to argue with him all the time, saying that how do you get the motivation to show up excited every day when it seems so impossible? Who's seen 20 years later?
And what did he say?
And he would, he just loved what he was doing and he was very passionate about it. And, he would always say that, taking it one day at a time. But, just having a large dream keeps me motivated. The fact that it will be so long before I can accomplish it keeps me motivated because if I accomplish it, I won't know what to do the next day. And so I remember, when he turned 70, we were like, okay, let's celebrate your birthday and have a big party. And he said that, no, I'm just like 6 months away now from finally accomplishing that. And I have seen this happen since he was probably 30, right, that entire journey. And so, it happened before he turned 71. He managed to be like the world's biggest contributor of protein structures.
My God. So how many proteins?
Yeah, some 630 proteins he's discovered now. And I remember, at that moment asking him, okay, so now you've done it. How does it feel?
Yeah.
And he's like, I feel that I have it in me to do many, many more because I just love
Still
doing
more.
this. And I just, because at the end of the day, we'll end up loving the journey. That sense of purpose gives us a reason to get up and show up excited every day. But at the end of the day, we're all living for that journey because, I remember this whole conversation where they asked Boris Becker when he was 17 and he won the Wimbledon. And they asked him that, how do you feel because you worked for this big dream all your life? And he said, I don't know, I feel like I might, commit suicide because I have nothing to look forward to. So I think for us, hope, dream, purpose, that's all there is to life, right? So having something to be excited about every day, that's all we need and that's what my father needs. So, but, seeing that journey of his and now seeing him accomplish that goal, it's a different story. But at that time, I used to think he's irrational. He's like, a dreamer who has this impossible dream, which he'll never accomplish. And for that, he's giving up like his entire life. And then when I became an entrepreneur and I went through that journey of myself, I gave up this 1 crore job offer and it was headlines. And for 15 years, I never got to a paycheck of 1 crore because I was struggling. And there were days when, there were months where I was earning 10,000 rupees a month. And, through that entire journey, I realized that I was so similar to my father because, at the end of the day, it is just about living for an impossible dream, being very irrational every single day, but still feeling happy because you have that, purpose or that big dream to look forward to and you're still so excited about the journey even though the reward seems so far away. You're okay to wait, you're okay to be patient, you're okay to show up excited every day.
So talking about similarities with your father, which you have. So did you actually invent the number of shades to the amount of protein which he invented? 638 or some number which you mentioned. How many shades of lipstick do you
Yeah, we
have?
actually have more than 600 SKUs.
Okay,
so
you
yeah, I
must
can
go
call
back.
him that.
You can just call him today that I have more shades of lipstick than the kind of proteins which you
I
have.
think I should say that because an entrepreneur is also inventing.
Yeah, so that's also a milestone. He was looking out for protein, so he found
Yeah,
out
my
that.
mom and my dad always says that protein molecules are way more exciting than cosmetics, and I tell him no, it's the other way.
So you tell him with the numbers how you outshine him. So, but then coming back to it, so how do you see the beauty industry since you've been there for so many years?
Yeah.
How has it changed or revolutionized from last 10 years to looking forward in the next 10, 20 years from here?
Yeah. So makeup specifically, not just the beauty industry, I think is very closely associated with self-confidence for women. It's, you know, it's a part of us being able to express ourselves through makeup. And I feel that India was a market where there weren't like enough companies that were serving the needs of women, and now that is changing because women are more aware and they're very clear about what they want. So it is one of the only industries that has been consistently growing at double digit over the last 5 to 6 years, and it's going to continue. We're still at a per capita consumption which is 1/8 of, say, a Singapore or a Hong Kong or a Korea in terms of per capita consumption of beauty products. And I feel that, you know, that number is going to exponentially increase because it's being driven by younger consumers, it's being driven by more awareness thanks to social media, and it's being driven by brands finally understanding the needs of the Indian consumer. And so I feel that it's one of those industries that for the next, forget 10, the next 20, 30 years is going to continue growing at double digit because it is one of the leading indicators of women getting empowered. Every market where women get empowered, you know, they start investing more in themselves because, you know, unless we invest in ourselves, we don't feel confident enough to take on the world. And that's why as, you know, more and more women get into workforce, women literacy rates rise, you know, women completing their graduation, post-graduation, those numbers rise. I think beauty industry will continue growing fast, especially categories like color cosmetics, which are heavily, you know, women focused.
Yeah, so talking about women empowerment, so like the cosmetics give them some kind of empowerment or confidence. So do you think the financials or the being independent, financially independent,
it's
also
the most
empowers
important.
them?
The most important thing for any woman, whether married, unmarried, you know, young, old, is to figure out financial independence, because I feel that the greatest amount of abuse that women go through in various aspects of life, like lack of freedom, of course the whole physical, domestic abuse, emotional abuse, all of that is because of the dependence. And at the end of the day, if you're not financially independent, you can't make decisions for yourself. And I think that's the first step. Even before investing in color cosmetics or beauty products or fashion, I would say women need to invest in their own financial independence, because that's the key to taking charge, taking control of your life and really being independent as a human being.
Wow, that was an advice straight from the heart. That's before the cosmetics, you need to invest in your
absolutely, and that's the most important, because without that, then there's nothing. Without having financial independence, I feel that there is no empowerment.
So what would be 3 parameters or advices which you can give to all our viewers when they're planning their personal finances?
So when you're planning personal finance, I would say firstly, be consistent and patient. Like anything which seems like a quick fix or a shortcut is always going to be too good to be true. So be patient, be consistent. Don't look for any spectacular shortcuts to becoming richer, but keep making that effort to invest small amounts, whether it's through SIPs or whether it's through any other investment strategy that you have, but make sure that you do something every month. That's first. Second is start your entire investment journey early on. I feel that if you start in your 20s, then you have like the compounding power of 30, 40 years. And compounding is really the eighth miracle of the world. I mean, it's really the eighth wonder of the world, as I would call it, because, you really don't realize the impact that compounding can have. So second would be that, start on the journey of investing early enough. And thirdly, I would say that I feel that it's important to figure out what you're passionate about early on, because a lot of times people, just for the sake of money, do things that they're not excited about. What happens is that, they end up like making a lot of money, but they're not happy because, they never lived their life. I would say that, like, don't end up optimizing for how much wealth you're making in your 20s, 30s. Use your 20s, 30s to discover your passion. Once you have it, then you give your career to that, and then eventually the income will happen. True. So have faith, have belief in yourself, have belief in your dreams, have belief in what you're passionate about, and let the income and the wealth come in later on.
So Vineeta, I heard that you said that you do not believe in advertisements or TV interviews. You believe more in mouth-to-mouth publicity by the customers.
Yeah.
But then your latest commercial of Ranveer has been a big hit.
So, Sugar started as a digital first brand, and even till date, while 50% of our business is now offline, 90% of our consumers discover us digitally, because the whole idea is that makeup is sold through education. And Instagram and YouTube make it so easy for that education to happen digitally. So we have 2.4 million followers on Instagram. We're the largest consumer brand and the fastest growing on Instagram. Similarly, on YouTube, we have about 500,000 followers. And this entire, this is all possible because women are now spending 7 hours on their mobile devices on average.
Okay.
Now, so we built the brand out of this education, which is so much easier on digital, because on television, you can talk about sugar, but you'll get like 20 seconds, right? And that 20 seconds is going to help you reach, say, hypothetically, like 40 million people. Now, on Instagram, we're able to reach 40 million women every month without spending anything. True. So it's a no-brainer for a brand like us to invest more on digital than television. And I felt that, traditional brands used to look at television as this big moat that would prevent other brands from getting into the category, because they owned the consumer thanks to their reach through television. So, which is why we felt that television didn't make sense for Sugar in the first 7 years of our journey. Now, what has happened is that Sugar's already, the awareness level in the 18 to 35-year-old consumers, especially digital consumers, is very high. Now we're trying to go beyond that to women in tier 2, tier 3 cities, small towns, villages, also women who are above the age of 35. Now, to reach that audience, television is a very efficient medium. So now that we've reached a certain scale, every month we sell products worth 60 crores already, and all this entire zero to this journey has come about thanks to digital. But now to go from here to like 1,000, 2,000 crores in revenue, I think television is going to play an important role, because beyond the point, it's hard to reach those consumers who are not still, as we call, digital savvy and non-savvy consumer. Now we're trying to get to the non-savvy consumers.
Okay, so you're actually trying to connect on both the ends.
Absolutely.
So that's why Ranveer Singh and Tamanna Bhatia are so liked by.
Absolutely.
And
yeah. In fact, Ranveer and Tamanna have come in as investors in Sugar. So they're really helping us with the next stage of journey. And in India, nothing sells like Bollywood.
Yes, that's true. Very true. So do you think that beauty industry has any impact on the economy of the country?
Yeah.
If yes, how?
Yeah. So firstly, of course, beauty is still one of the fastest growing categories in India. It's a very large business. Beauty, personal care itself is like a 60,000 crore business just in products, and it's one of the fastest growing at about 15% year on year. But beyond that, I feel that beauty as an industry is one of those industries which employs the most number of women. And this
is it?
Yes, and like Sugar has 2,500 women employees. We have more than 70% of our workforce is women, because it's just an industry where it's easier for women to get ahead. And now I will tell you the impact that has on GDP, right? So the percentage of women in workforce has come down to under 20%, and there is a McKinsey report that says a 10% change in the participation of women in workforce can have an $800 billion impact on India's GDP.
Wow.
Now that's the impact that it can have, because it is one of your most under-leveraged, underutilized asset in India. That's women who are, you know, educated but are sitting at home and not working, right? So now filling that workforce gender gap can have an $800 billion impact. And I feel there are two industries. One is, of course, your banking and financial services, and the other is beauty. That's actually at the forefront of bringing about this change. So I think this is an indirect impact that it has, but it cannot be discounted, because the scale, it's like 10% different, 20% participation going to 30% can actually bring about a change of $800 billion. And
That's a radical change.
Absolutely, and that's what we need to get to our $5 trillion GDP dream.
Yeah, true. So one last piece of advice for all the viewers on their personal financial planning and their empowerment, as in personal financial empowerment.
Yeah.
So what would you like to say?
I
on
will
that?
just again say the same thing. Be patient, be consistent. Baby steps over large, big bets is what I would say is very important as far as your personal wealth is concerned.
So Vineeta, we had a wonderful time hearing your valuable insights for all our finances and things. So we come to the most important part and most interesting part of our show, which is the rapid fire round.
Wow.
Are you ready for it?
Yes, I'm ready, assuming there's a hamper. I'm kidding.
So here goes. Desi or global, your taste in food?
Desi is my comfort food. Rajma, chawal and chole.
Wow. Swimming or gupshup over chai, your favorite hobby?
I don't drink chai, I drink coffee.
Okay.
So
swimming
swimming.
or complete this famous phrase in your own style. Kal kare so aaj kar.
काल करे सो आज कर, आज करे सो अब, सपने देखना छोड़ दे, सपने पूरे करेगा कब.
Lazing or painting the town red, your ideal Saturday night?
Painting the town red.
Wow. You only live once or you only die once?
You only live once. I strongly believe that you should do whatever you want because you only live once.
Okay. Music to dance or music to meditate? What is your taste in music?
Music to dance or music to run? Running is my meditation.
Okay,
so.
yeah, actually that should have been an option. Your life in one word? Just one word. Any lipstick
dream.
shade?
Oh, good one. Pink.
Okay. What's the most daring thing you have ever done?
Giving up the job offer and
Yeah,
starting up.
Do you prefer sugar or sugar free when it comes to your cup of coffee?
Oh, I don't put any sugar in my coffee. This is all the sugar I need in my life.
What is your biggest fear?
Biggest fear is, it has been failure, but I'm trying to not be afraid of failures.
I think you've overcome the failure now.
Yeah.
Your favorite shade of lipstick? Now this is the one.
Always a red.
Always a red.
Yes, I love a great red because nothing is a better mood lifter than a nice red lipstick.
So all the ladies out there can expect some good red shades. here.
Absolutely. We have this shade called Scarlet O'Hara. It's a red that works for every Indian skin tone.
Wow. So with this we come to the end of the rapid fire round. It has been so nice to have you on the show, so bubbly, so full of energy.
Thank you.
So much to learn from you, and then it was excellent.
Thank you, Divya, and I enjoyed the conversation a lot. Thank you so much for having me here, and good luck for your show. I think it's important to do a show like this for the youth of India.
Yes, actually. Thank you so much,
Thank
Vineeta.
you. Thank you so much.
See you soon again.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye.
Thank you for watching Manage Wealth with me, Divya Tusnial. Do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon, and connect with me for any query on the financial market on my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Manage Wealth show handles, or write to me on divyatusnial.com.